So there was an ad that ran during the Democratic debate, and it's without question one of the most vile, stupid ads I've ever seen. Probably run by some shadowy right-wing billionaire or extreme right-wing think tank. Watch this.
This is the face of socialism and ignorance. Does Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez know the horror of socialism? My father was minutes from death in Cambodia before a forced marriage saved his life. That's socialism. Forced obedience, starvation. Mine is a face of freedom. My skin is not white. I'm not outrageous, racist, nor socialist. I'm a Republican.
That ad, first of all, the ending part where she's like, I'm a Republican. And there was another part where she's like, that's socialism. Twitter memed that to holy hell. Oh my goodness. People were ripping this in 50,000 ways. But listen, that ad, it is almost like an admission of defeat up front. And I mean that because look at how unhinged they are. And they don't make any sense. They don't make any sense at all. Bringing up like mass killings and trying to link them to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You know what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is in favor of? Everybody having health care like every other developed country. You know what else she's in favor of? Everybody having college, free college, like in most other developed countries. And by the way, like we have through high school. We have free high school. Free K to 12. That's what we have in this country. Is it really that crazy to add 4 more years to that? You know what she's in favor of? An idea that even Tucker Carlson was like, okay, that's a really good idea. I like that one. What am I talking about? Her first bill, which she did with Bernie Sanders, is a cap at 12% on for interest rates. So in other words, it's like a anti-loan shark industry bill. So these are the things that she's fighting for. She's fighting for criminal justice reform and legalizing recreational marijuana. There's a list of stuff that she's fighting for. By the way, the overwhelming majority of the stuff she fights for polls well over 50%. People love the agenda. Even Republicans love the agenda. If you take her face and her name off of it and you just lay that agenda out, they'd be like, I love this. This is awesome. Since they cannot respond to what she's actually in favor of and what she's pushing for, okay, what do? They, first of all, do some weird, like, creepy semi-incitement to violence shit with her face on fire or whatever, which is so vile. And then they have to compare her to, like, mass murderers and giant atrocities and genocides. You're just admitting defeat. I don't know how to respond to you specifically, so I'll just be like, I don't know. You're close enough to, like, some of the worst mass murderers in history because you're on the left and they're on the left. And even though you just want healthcare and college for people, and by the way, she wants to end wars. The Republicans are pushing to continue wars. She wants to end wars, but somehow she's the one that's got blood on her hands or something. See, they're not even trying to make sense. This is preach to the lowest common denominator, people who already hate her and but again, it's also kind of dangerous because are there people out there who are like legit white supremacists who are, who hate AOC and are violent people who might see something like this and be like, she's just as bad as we thought. Yeah. We're not having a reasonable, legitimate discussion in this country. We're having, like, the right is just viciously strawmanning the left in the most caricatured possible way. But again, in a weird way, it's an admission of defeat because you can't respond on the specifics. You can't respond to the fact that she's supporting a bill that probably polls over 70%, the capping interest rates at 12% bill. Like, you can't actually respond to that. So what do? And classic tokenism, too, by the way. Get some woman of color to go out there and act like, see, us Republicans aren't racist because I'm a woman of color and I'm a Republican and socialism is evil. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is like historical mass murderers. You're not even trying, man. I don't need to resort to these kind of gross tactics to make an argument against the right. I don't have to do it. I could just take Donald Trump's agenda and his policies and say, see, look how low these poll. There was a time when he got rid of internet privacy rights, and I'm forgetting the exact number now, but if I'm not mistaken, it was in the single digits. It was like a 9% favored proposal that he signed on to just gut internet privacy rights. I don't need to, I just need to point out what they're doing to say, look how fucked up they are. How could you support them? That's all I have to do. What do they have to do? Insanely hyperbolic, twisted straw men comparing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to mass murderers in order to try to make a point. Well, the good news is this, for anybody who's even somewhat reasonable, this just goes too far for them. I think of my mom, who was a Republican most of her life. Later on in her life, she became more of a Democrat. I think I don't know what she's registered as, but she votes more for Democrats now, overwhelmingly. But I think of somebody like that, and that's just she doesn't see this and go, oh yeah, that's reasonable. She sees this and goes, what on earth are you babbling about, you fucking morons? So there's a reason why, just so everybody knows, there's a reason why all of the anger and vitriol and hatred and all the propaganda is targeting AOC, targeting Ilhan Omar, targeting the Justice Democrats. Because they're the actual opposition. They know that the corporate Democrats agree with the Republicans at least half the time and are willing to do their bidding with their shitty agenda. They know that. So target the people who really don't fall in line. Target the people who are actually fighting for the people and fighting for social democracy. And you have to use terrible propaganda to try to make your argument. And they just hammer it away day after day after day after day. And that's the power of propaganda, is that the Fox News bobbleheads they've bought into it hook, line, and sinker. But anybody who's kind of not in that cult already is going to look at this and be like, come on, what are you doing? So anyway, that's the state of the discourse. And by the way, ABC approved that ad to run during the debate. Think about that. They approved that ad to run during the debate. I don't know what that says about ABC, but it's certainly not good.